So the channel has been running for about 10 years now, and it's had quite a few tape recorders on it that I've managed to acquire over the years. This tape recorder, I've had one of these before, but it was in a very bad condition. Not so much cosmetically, but internally the idlers and everything were bad. But this example is a pretty good one. I don't think it's had a lot of use at all. It's a Ferguson machine, and it's a stereo 4-track 3-speed machine, and it has little monitor speakers which are stereo at the sides, so it makes it quite useful if you just wanted to sort of check what's on a tape or something, or check your recording input monitoring. I think you could just use it as an amp. They're not very big speakers, but they are okay for monitoring purposes. Anyway, this is a completely idler driven deck. There's an idler underneath to drive the pinch roller, the capstan pinch roller, and then everything else is idler driven. And unusually, or perhaps not unusually, but differently compared to the deck that this was previously replaced, is the slipping clutch mechanism isn't sort of under the hub, it's actually on the capstan wheel. So essentially this is driven straight off the capstan, but the capstan has a clutch wheel on top. So yeah, there's no actual clutch in the hub. And this is all idler driven, fast forward and rewind. Play is all idler driven. The only belt is for the counter. There's a small bulb out here at the moment. The bulb lights there and it will light the meters and the counter, but it's blown, sadly. This had Callins capacitors, and replacing the Callins capacitors brought the thing to life. But as I say, the thing has had very little use. It's got quite a nice lid with the Ferguson brand on, which closes it all up. And I've made some recordings at the slowest speed of 1/7/8, and they are really good recordings. I'll demonstrate it by playing a slow recording back, and then what I'll do is I'll put one of these, we'll listen to one of these pre-recorded tapes. I'll just play it now through I've got a DIN connector connected to my amp at the minute, so I'll turn the speakers off there, and we'll just demonstrate the internal speakers, and then I shall play it through the amp with the stereo speakers there. So so this is now through the internal speakers. So I'll turn the volume down on the internal speakers, and now we'll go to the external speakers. Yes, you're all I need to keep my spirit shining bright. I help you when you get away in the night. Love, I can't think of any place so time when you're not laying, playing, staying on my mind. Yeah, that's at the economy. Well, they used to call that the economy or speed for speech. But as you can hear, for just a single head machine, or a two head machine, you've got erase, obviously. That sounds pretty good on the slow speed, and for a completely idler driven deck. Yeah, very little sort of wow and flutter. I mean, there is a bit of flutter on it, but you could make a really long tape for sort of background music, or even better, you know. We'll rewind this one now, and I recorded that off LP. It does also have a stop feature for the foil tape. It's got these real retainers and quite long shafts for the spools, but I don't know why really, other than just to stop it vibrating, I suppose, because the deck can't really be operated upright. So I'll put one of these pre-recorded tapes, and again we'll listen to this through the external speakers because they just sound better. But so that will move the, trying to thread this one-handed again without missing the head. The only problem with this, or criticism I'd have with it really, is to get to cleaning the heads on this is really awkward, because even when you remove the head cover, there's like a metal screening, so you know you almost have to take the whole top plate off the deck in order to really thoroughly clean the heads, which at the time probably wasn't so necessary, but as these tapes have aged, it's just got worse. The other quirk is you have to press, there's two play buttons. This is really like a track switch. They could have really put a track switch here and just had one play button perhaps, but I think it's because the mono tapes and the fact that this was really an economy deck. I mean, yeah, economy deck, it wasn't the cheapest, but sort of middle of the range deck, and a lot of people would have still been using the two tracks, the two mono tracks on one tape, and that was essentially because you could get twice as much on one tape, so from an economy point of view. But of course, when you want to then play stereo, you have to press the two buttons. It's just an unusual quirk of this machine. But we'll listen to a pre-recorded tape now at the sort of more middle speed.
Love is kind, love is wide, so much laughter in your eyes, and you know that I will love you till the last flower dies. Do you hear music far away? There's so much I'd like to say, got a feeling oh so
So yeah, that's the sort of speed you'd usually be using it on. To be really honest with you, there's not much difference in the higher speed to the middle speed, and as I say, even the slowest speed makes pretty good recordings. And of course, you're playing it back on the same deck. You're doubling up all the wow and flutter. So yeah, it does a pretty good job for what at the time was a sort of middle of the road machine. Although I think in this cabinet it was probably a bit more expensive with the sort of wooden framed lid. But yes, I thought it was definitely worth a look at, because as I say, it's a purely idler driven deck in that. And the deck I had before, the idlers, for whatever reason, it probably been stored or left with the play buttons pressed, or fast forward or rewind buttons depressed, and in its just running mode it made a hell of a noise, so that one unfortunately had to be scrapped. But this one is, I'm pleased to get this one because it's a really good example.